Toxic coworkers get what was coming to them. I'd been working at this high-end restaurant for a while, struggling to support my parents. Growing up, I'd always scraped by, and this job felt like my first real shot at success. The other waitstaff, hired through connections, sneered at anyone outside their world. When Claire was hired, she was different. Pink hair, piercings, and circus-like nails, but she worked hard, just like me. From day one, Claire was treated horribly. The other staff ignored her, and the hostesses would triple-seat her, and others refused to help. I couldn't stand it, knowing how it felt to be judged. What hurt most was how the managers acted. She brought up the issues she faced, and they told her to smile more, completely dismissing her struggles. Then came the announcement. The restaurant had been bought by new owners who would be doing a surprise visit. The staff assumed they were high class like them and would keep their jobs. I guess they also assumed the new owner would come in as a guest. So over the next week, Claire and I were only seated with poor-looking customers. One day, Claire came back with a couple $100s from one tip, and some of the other waitstaff cornered her, demanding she share it, even though we never pooled tips. Claire refused, but the managers sided with the others, forcing her to give up the money. I spoke up, but the managers told me to mind my business. Claire threw her apron down and walked out. The others laughed, saying she couldn't handle it. The next day, Claire returned, not in uniform, but in a sharp business suit. The others mocked her, assuming she was desperate for her last paycheck. But minutes later, the managers were freaking out. Claire was the new owner. She'd been working as a waitress to see what needed to change. Months later, half the staff was fired, and the restaurant was thriving. I stayed on, grateful I had been kind to her. She showed that even when you're treated like you don't belong, you can rise to the top.